know, we're doing all right. We just have to make sure that the world situation doesn't implode, and one of the ways of doing that is standing up to Donald Trump rather than falling over him, because he's a fascist scumbag. Anyway, this is called The Optimist. It's dedicated to us all. Another new year has just started, as the news goes from awful to worse, and reform is the billionaire's plaything. Though it isn't reform, it's reverse. As I watch the sea lap at our village, or they tell me I'm spreading fake news and the internet swallows their poison, I refuse to succumb to the blues. For a lifetime, my work's been my hobby, and I'm happier than I've ever been. But it's not about me here, it's history. It's the changes this old poet's seen. The reason the right-wing attack us is because of the battles we've won. For what they call woke is now normal. Let's ensure it does not come undone. I remember when 8 chants at football were just something that some people did. Disability as playground insult was the norm as a primary school kid. And my granny's loud, casual racism, hand in hand with the tabloid she read, went unchallenged in pub and in pulpit. Now those dinosaurs, mostly, are dead. Force of nature still at 67, as I summon the memories here. I know this year's not going to be heaven. I'm afraid that's abundantly clear. I am ready for all that it brings us, and I've welcomed it in at the bar. So don't cower as it comes round the corner. Stand up with me and say, here we are. Cheers. I wrote this during Trump's inauguration. Now, about a month previously, I had a circumcision at the age of 67. And I can assure you, both male and female, and those of no indeterminate gender, that the first experience was more pleasurable than the second. This is called Dalek Trump. Inaugurate, pontificate, expropriate, unallocate, discriminate, interrogate, exacerbate, excoriate, manipulate, contaminate, precipitate, incriminate, intimidate, humiliate, depopulate, eviscerate, disintegrate, debilitate, decapitate, obliterate, eliminate, eradicate, annihilate, exterminate. Fuck you, Trump. Cheers. Without any further ado, basically, those are really old gits like me will remember a really shit early 1970s television program which I never watched, but I knew about because it spawned somebody called David Cassidy. The program was it's called The Partridge Family, and the first band on tonight are the kind of Partridge Family of punk rock. Will you please welcome to the stage Indignation Meeting? They are fucking brilliant, and all their songs are about trains. Organised by gigs around the fixture list most of the time, and we were away at Ipswich, and I got off the train at Ipswich, and as I got off the train at Ipswich, there was a sign, you know, when it says what the next station is, and it says next station Dis, and I thought, well, okay, if you insist. Yo, next station, you're the worst. I'd rather be stranded at Selhurst. Your toilets are worse than the Adelphi in Hull, and your on-street frontage is really dull. Your sandwiches are crap and your coffee is crapper, and you wouldn't be in the hood of any self-respecting rapper, because there's only one homie who calls you his ends, that's MC Trainspotter. Got no friends. And tomorrow, if you come to Halifax, you'll hear the sequel to that. And now I'm going to do a poem for Yorkshire. I've done more gigs in Yorkshire than any other county in this country, and one of the reasons that I decided that the northern leg of our tour would be mainly in Yorkshire, because I've just done, I don't know, lots and lots of gigs in Yorkshire. It's obviously a very big county anyway, but it's also got lots of names that are really interesting and silly and weird. There's one particular that I'm sure you thought of already, but anyway, this is called Sussex Poet in Yorkshire, and it's dedicated to Jill and John Cavani from Leeds, who've organised loads of gigs for us. And who are from Horsforth, and it's dedicated to Indignation Meeting, who are also from Horsforth, and it's dedicated to Mark and Rachel from Ossett, who have lent us their fucking house. They're on holiday this week, and they have lent us their house. Now, 30 years ago, if someone had said, I'll lend you my house with Barnstormer, I'd have gone, I'm really not sure that's a good idea, but now, we're all as sweet as anything, you know, it's like... Anyway, this is Sussex Poet in Yorkshire. If I'm poorly in Richmond, dumped on in Dunworth, moaned at in Giggleswick, or my Todd in Todmorden, treated ill in Ilkley, weather-beaten in Wetherby, hailed on in Baildon, or dished in Dishforth, if they hate my work ethic in Idle, I get scarred in Scarborough, feel a fall in Gaul, or get mauled in Morley, and forced out of Fawcett, if Hull turns to hell, and I get hassled in Hessel, and too gregarious for Hermit Hill, and lower the tone in penis, get a wet wang in my nether-thumb or a Sherburn in my helmet. If they take the mick in Jagger Green and call me Starmerite in Keithley, I know friendship pours forth in Horsforth, and I'll always be cosseted in Ossett. Cheers. Put you on like that one. So this is named after the house we're staying in tomorrow, which belongs to Mark and Rachel, who are a couple of absolute lefties. Their house is called Moderation Villa, and that's where we're staying for the next couple of days. And I wrote this as a kind of a bit of a swipe back at the people who've had a go at me for still being in the Labour Party, and my wife Rabina for still being a councillor, when basically we created 2 Labour councils out of nothing in West Sussex, and we're not giving up despite the leadership, we're carrying on. Because we're all Corbyn intake, we created it ourselves, and we're fucking staying there. This is called Moderation Villa. It's for Mark and Rachel, currently on holiday with their sons in Turkey. My Ada Council wife and I have moved to a new home. We found the perfect place for us. There's no more need to roam. We sip fake socialist champagne, which nice Keir Starmer sent her, while nibbling on larks' tongues and unicorn placenta. Through wide Overton windows, we gaze straight down the middle, and every wall is painted beige. Oh, what a pile of pickle. We're side by side for peace and change. This woman and her man seek the same goal by different paths, both doing all we can. Cheers. There's a couple of love poems for Rabina. It's our anniversary, love of my life, my muse and my soulmate, so proud she's my wife. We live life in laughter and walk side by side, two strong personalities closely allied, a marriage of equals, each day pleasures new. I never embarrassed her. That line's not true. I do actually. Like last year, Valentine's Day, last Valentine's Day. Roses are red, violets are blue, you need a wee wee, I need a poo. You can go upstairs, I should go down, yours will be yellow, mine will be brown. Cheers. And here's a canvassing story. She stood for the first time as a Labour councillor in 2021 in my home ward, Southwick Green in West Sussex, basically in between Brighton and Worthing. Tory since the Highbury age. She got in because I knew she would, because she just has done for 40 years as an ordinary citizen what a councillor should do, and the Tories have just let everything go to pot. So she stood and she got in with a small majority. Then she got re-elected last year in May with 60% of the vote. And but not everybody voted for her. I was canvassing obviously at that time, and this is a canvassing story which may make you laugh. Look at you. Are you a bother boy? I'm not a bother boy. I'm 66, and I'm the husband of your local councillor. I've just been asked if I'm a bother boy. I haven't heard that expression since Bournemouth tried to take law stand in 1972. I'm not even canvassing, just leafleting. And I'm 20 yards from his house by the time he opens the front door. It's one of the posh bits. It's not at all posh by posh standards, but it's posh by the standards of non-posh people, for being thought of as posh is very high on their hyacinth bucket list. He's about 70, in a cardi. He's walking towards me, pointing at me and telling me to fuck off for the hideous crime of shoving a leaflet into his letterbox. It's like being threatened by a blancmange. And anybody who knows me will be aware that I don't put up with behaviour like that. So I stand my ground as he swears at me and raise my middle finger. Yes, it's last of the summer wine meets football factory. He tells me to fuck off again. I tell him he's going to lose the general election. I think you're probably right, he splutters. And it's going to be grim, I tell you. I should have responded with, that's just another Tory fairy tale. But sadly, I didn't think of that line until afterwards. I walk away and carry on leafleting. He shuts the door and goes back to the Daily Telegraph. Definitely the Telegraph with the side order of Spectator. Appearances will be well and truly kept up. Hyacinth will be proud of him. Bother boy. Oi! Cheers. Well, continue getting ready. Just to say, I have my collected works published in 2020. which was a great time to have my collected works published. 40 years from when I started, 40th anniversary. Of course, the other thing happened in 2020 was COVID, so instead of a great big tour, I ended up doing Facebook Live, which took me about a week to understand, but I managed to get there, and I did quite a lot during lockdown. And so my collected works is out. It's called Heart on My Sleeve, and my autobiography is out. We're selling them at the back. But this is the poem I wrote for Rabina for my 40th anniversary and for COVID, really. And it's called To My Wife in Lockdown. For 40 years today, I've lived this life. Travelled the world for concerts far and wide. For half that time, my love, you've been my wife. A glorious inspiration at my side. A quarter of the year or more apart. For me, a time to rant, for you to rest. Then I return to you, my loving heart. Resume our path together, two abreast. When lockdown hit, at first I was bereft, though I believed it should have come before. My travelling ways through all the years were done. The gigs I built my life around no more. I thought, then wrote, then learned to broadcast live, though IT still remains a fickle friend. My office, now the gateway to my world, a world I first thought would come to an end. But now we were together all the time. Strong characters faced with a brand new test. My table manners and the toothpaste top. This tireless tongue which never seems to rest. But all our days were filled with love and fun. We never thought something would have to give. We looked into each other's eyes and said, no one I'd rather be in lockdown with. I love to watch our garden as it grew, not sometimes this year, every single day. Tomatoes from the seed to bright red fruit. Green beans to freezer from the starting tray. When lockdown eased a bit and summer came, my childhood days returned, my rods, my bike. A few hours on our own, now all we need. A night apart, now something not to like. One day, I hope, I'll hit the road again. Here I am. One day your peace and quiet will return. There it is. But this great revelation in our love, enforced by fate, was wonderful to learn. So darling, thanks for marrying me full time. This stroppy poet, loud of mouth and arts. And as my valediction in this rhyme, I hereby dub you comrade wife, first class. Thank you. Are we ready? We're ready. Without any further ado, I've done this band for 40 years and I'm very, very proud and happy to have them along with us, celebrating our 30th anniversary as Barnstormer 6049. Please welcome the mighty Blythe Power.